Here are 3 reasons why, no matter what you do, you still cannot take care of your stress and burnout. But before I tell you those 3 reasons with solutions, and I don't think you would like the third one, you will take courage to discuss the third one. I want to tell you a story about Marc. And obviously, I changed the name of Marc, but let's see, can you relate or you know someone like that? So Marc was working in a big company for 20 years, and he's been very good employee. He always will show up on time to work. He was always there, the first one to take up new project. Multiple times he worked overtime to deliver. He would not be leaving home on Friday evening at 5 p.m. like everybody else, because he wanted to make sure that he will deliver his reports on time, because the customer is always right. And he was just so loyal to the company. And sometimes he even would work over the weekends, and he would be that person that goes to the all-inclusive resort and still has a laptop and still typing there while everybody's enjoying the beach. Do you know someone like that? And here's what happened. Well, the company started losing profit, and they started laying off people, and Marc was laid off. Although he was thinking that he still has a job because he is irreplaceable, because he is such a good employee. Wrong. Companies really don't care about people. They care about the profit line. Just it's a business, okay? Now, before you say like, well, tell me something new, and it's better to be a business owner and have your own company. Here's the deal. When you have your own company, then you have additional worries and stressors. And then, I hear from my clients who come to me who have their own businesses, they say that when you have your own business, then you work 24 hours a day, not just from 8 to 5, like if you will be working for somebody else. So the end is more or less this. It's not really about who you work for, it's how you work. Or what I'm trying to say is how you manage your workload and how you manage your stress and burnout, no matter who you're working for. So let's just go to the first reason why you may hesitate to manage your stress, or maybe you tried out some few things and it looks like it's just not working for you and you're still stressed out and burnt out. You see, in our society, being stressed out and burnt out is like a badge of honor. If you go to any meeting, and could be a party or could be a business meeting or whatever meeting, there's like a gathering of people. And if there is this professional vibe, everybody will be complaining to you how busy they are. And they also stressed out because there's so much to do. You even can be going to see your friends who are like girlfriends, and they just have no jobs. They're just sitting at home and watching kids, and looks like they're doing nothing all day long. But they will tell you how stressed out they are because they need to prepare the lunches. They need to get the kids to the ballet. They need to prepare the dinner. And they're all so busy and so stressed out because it's a badge of honor. The sad part is that if you are not doing anything, then you can be considered as lazy. And you definitely want to look like you also, very important, and you're the part of the society that's also very busy. So naturally, we will be doing a lot of busy stuff and telling everybody that how busy we are and not taking care of our own stress because it's serving us. Like, we have this badge of honor and we are included in a group. That's really coming from our survival mechanism, because we do want to belong to the group, right? I think we are herd animals, meaning from early age, we're already being groomed to belong to the group. If we are excluded from the group, we will die, because a child itself cannot really survive on his own. From early age, it needs to have adults. That means you need to be accepted in a group and play by the group's rules. So here's the question to you. So how well are you playing by those rules? Ask yourself next time when you're stressed out and burnt out, Why are you doing the things that you do? Is it because of validation? Is it because you really like doing it? What is the true cause of that? So, the second reason is that you might be struggling with your stress and burnout and finding solutions for that. Is because you've been trained to do that. That's like your default. Now, think about it. What kind of environment did you grow up? Where your parents always busy? Was your mom working? Was your dad, always out? And there was not enough time to spend with you because they're always working? Maybe you had caregivers, not necessarily parents. Maybe they were grandparents or aunts or whatever that you were growing up with, but they were always busy. Maybe somebody was not even going to work. They were constantly here at home, but they were always busy with something to do around the house. Maybe outside. Maybe they were always cleaning and doing whatever. Maybe they were just, let's just face it, there are a lot of families that were struggling with addiction. And when somebody is drunk or high or whatever that is, definitely they are not supporting the child and not showing the attention. So naturally, that busyness and being stressed out and burnout, it was just kind of like a default. So you are learning how to behave and how to manage your stress and how you manage your burnout really from the adults that you are growing up with. So ask yourself this question: how's my family dealing with stress? And if you have siblings, you can ask them too. Like, do you remember what mom and dad were doing? Like, how will we manage stress? And it could be that one of those authorities, if they were drinking and that's how they manage stress, because let's face it, when I tell someone that I'm a stress management coach, they tell me, oh, I manage my stress with a glass of wine. And then I say, well, how often are you stressed out? And they're like, oh my gosh, like every day. So what does that mean? You're an alcoholic, right? Because if you are managing your stress and you have a glass of wine or two every single day, that's an issue. But you know what? It's great because it's a glass of wine. So if you are managing your stress with a glass of wine, I don't think that's really healthy for you. Of course, leave me a comment below and tell me how wrong I am. But there is already a reason why we're not walking around all drunk and doctors not telling that you all need to be drunk to take care of your stress. So what are the patterns that you learned in your family how to act when you're stressed out? Because if you grew up in the environment, especially if you was a little bit dysfunctional, you learned to live with this anxiety. That was like your default. And you see, that's what happened to me, because I grew up in the environment where, I had my father, drinking too much, and he will come back home and I will be really scared, and obviously the childhood was not really fun. But because I did not know what will happen the next moment, I was very resilient, but at the same time I was constantly on anxiety. That was my normal, that was my default of consciously being afraid and thinking, what is that I'm going to do next? So when you are someone, let's say like me, who grew up in the environment where you were not feeling safe, and you placed in the stressful situation, which is more pressure onto your mental system, the body starts breaking down. Because how much can you take care of yourself? If you're already on the top of that threshold and you put more stress and pain onto yourself, there is going to be a moment when you just break. That's what happened to me. So ask yourself, what is this pattern that you keep on following as an adult that you learn when you're a child that has to do with stress management and burnout? That could answer a lot of questions. Why do you behave the way you behave? And the sad part is here that we are very loyal to our patterns because we are loyal to our parents. It is that belonging to a group that keeping us stuck in the same patterns that even hurting us, really, truly, because we want to be loyal. And so this is what it is. We're moving to the third reason. And may not sound kind of good, maybe sad, and maybe you will not like it, but it is serving you to be stressed out and burn out. I know, I said that. We always do things that is serving us. And why? If you grew up in an environment where you didn't feel validated, wanted, desired, if you've been told to shut up, sit down, your needs do not matter, and you've been just really forced to abandon yourself and your own needs, this is what you will continue doing it in your adult life. Even if you're stressed out and burn out, you will continue dishonoring yourself, dishonoring your own emotions and feelings, and anything that your body and your system says, hey, listen, this is for you, time to kind of start taking care of yourself. Because you will feel ashamed and guilty of that. Because you are loyal to those patterns that you learned already. And the sad news is this: if you grew up in the environment where you've been not loved for who you are, just the way you are, because of the fear of survival, you will continue doing things that does not maybe serving you, but is serving other people in your life in order to survive. And because you were not loved the way you were, you may become a workaholic because you grew up in the idea that you constantly need to be useful. So you cannot even allow yourself to sit down and relax because you are afraid that somebody will call you lazy, somebody will call you useless, and they will discard you. And that idea of you just taking care of yourself and of your own self good well-being and anything that has to do with stress management or burnout, is a very threatening to you, because you I cannot say you are, but you may have very strong fear of abandonment and loyal to those patterns because you want to belong to the group, because you want to belong to the people and not feel lonely. Yes, I know it's a super complicated and very painful issue, and that was very painful when I was going through my own journey of figuring out why I made myself sick and why I behaved the way I behaved. Well, what helped me a lot, and that is my solution that I will recommend, is not to run away from that, but really ask yourself, okay, how am I managing my stress? Where is this really coming from? Ask yourself those questions. Write it down in a journal and say, okay, all right, let's observe my parents. Let's ask my siblings what life used to be. What did I learn? And then ask yourself, are those coping mechanisms right now really serving you? Or maybe they are hurting you. That could be too. And then when you already acknowledge, that's like halfway through it already. And then you'll start implementing new things in your life that actually are not that difficult to do, but that has to do a lot with honoring yourself, honoring your feelings, honoring your needs, and not abandoning yourself. Because when you follow other people, even to please them in order to save yourself, but it's hurting you, that means you're abandoning yourself. I know, it's very convoluted. It's like you abandoning yourself in order not to be abandoned. I know, that's very tough to swallow. But everything is done just by deciding that you deserve to have a better life. You deserve to address your needs. It's okay to love yourself. And loving yourself is such a big word, like, oh my gosh, how you can love yourself? No. If you're not going to take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of those people around you? Your family, your friends, your community, all those people that you think you continuously need to work yourself to the ground to provide. Provide them with you being there, healthy. How about that? And I highly recommend you to talk with a therapist or hire a coach. I am taking new coaching clients. Go to my website, beamazingyou.com, and book a session with me where we can get crystal clear about where your stress is coming from, what habits don't work, and what habits work. And I will teach you my calm process that works magic in any stressful situation.